Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from the Breeders Cup at Santa Anita Park here on Friday. It is November the 1st, 2019. It's day one of the World Championship, and I'm going to look at all the Breeders Cup races. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me tomorrow for my Saturday Breeders Cup preview video. Excellent racing today with for the juvenile races on day one of the Breeders' Cup. So we're going to look at all those races. We have 5 of them to get to. Let's get to the 5th race from Santa. The 5th race from Santa Anita, it is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. Grade 2 purse $1 million races for 2-year-olds here. We have an overflow field of 16 horses. Only 12 could go on the turf course, a distance of ground of 1,000 meters, or the distance of ground of 5 furlongs on the Santa Anita turf course. 1,000 meters, 5 furlongs. I show the diagram, it just gives me that little extra second to look down my notes, just bear with me. Especially with all these races we have to look at. I need that extra second. But a very good race here. The top selection, I'm going to go with the number 7 horse here, Kamari. I'm going to go 7-5-3-10 in the superfecta. 7-5-3-10 super. The top selection is the 7 horse Kamari. It's hero filly by Munnings here. The filly taking on the boys, so she gets a little bit of a weight break, carrying 119 pounds here. Wesley Ward trains this one. John Velasquez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 6th of October at Keeneland. 5.5 furlongs in the Indian Summer Stakes, and the horse, opened my eyes that day with her run. She won by a half length, and she has a tendency of not breaking that well. She didn't break all that well that day, and she was basically last going down the backstretch. But the turn of foot she had at the end, was incredible, and it looked like she had a lot left in the tank. Even at the finish, she won quite nicely, earning herself a 78 buyer, which is a very good run for buyer number for her. Before then, the bolting landing at Saratoga, 5.5 furlongs of the Mellon Turf course. She won by 4 lengths back to North America that day. She sat on the front and all throughout after not the best beginnings early on, but after that went straight to lead, and then she just took off clear. A very good victory at 25 cents a dollar. She was supposed to win, and she won quite nicely. Keep in mind the second place finisher won next start out, and then before then, the Group 2 Queen Mary at Royal Ascot on quite soft ground. She finished second by head behind Raffle Prize, who, keep in mind, also won next start out. This horse set the pace. She got caught by the horse on her inside, but she ran a terrific race. It doesn't get any better than that for a second place finish. And then before that, Keeneland 4.5 and main special with 56,000. And her debut, she won by 15 lengths, and she completely missed the break. But for her to, with that turn of foot going around the far turn, she could have won around another 5 times and won quite nicely. A very good run. Keep in mind, the second place finisher also won next start out. A lot of second place finishers for her have been winning next start out. But I like this horse a lot. She's versatile. She's shown that last time out where she could come from behind, or she could set the pace. 7-2. John Velasquez is a smart rider. He knows what he's going to do, so I'll use her here. The 5 horse Encoder is another horse I want to put on the multi-race pick 5 ticket that begins with this race. 2-year-old colt here by English Channel. John Sadler trains. Flavien Prat gets the mount. John Sadler won 0 for 38 in the Breeders' Cup until he won with Accelerate. Will it make it 2 in a row with the last Breeders' Cup race being last year's Classic? But this horse is cutting back in trip. His most recent outing came in here at Santa Anita, 1 mile Zuma Beach, and he finished 4th by 3 3/4 lengths. It's 90 cents a dollar favorite. The horse is wide, and he just never got into it. It was a weird run. He should have improved a lot. Before that, in the Del Mar Juvenile Turf, he won by head, and he sat back early, had a great turn of foot, and he won nicely. And then he is a 5 furlong turf winner, winning at Del Mar in a main special weight 62,000. He won by 1.5 lengths. He sat mid-pack. He got the lead, and then he took off clear. I think with a quick pace in him in this race, it's going to suit a horse like him. Also at 15-1, you want to use him on your ticket. And the 3 was another miracle for Gary Contessa and Manny Franco. This Gary Contessa, since Saratoga, has been on a very bad cold streak, but I think it could change with this 2-year-old colt by American Pharaoh. Another horse, he ran in the Futurity a few weeks ago at Belmont on the Widener 6 furlongs. He finished 5th by 4 lengths that day, and he really never showed up. If you thought of that race, he ran quite well at Saratoga, and even in his debut at Belmont, he's another horse at 15-1. I could see him getting a good good run from the insides. So we'll use him on the multi-race ticket also. And if you want to throw in the 10 horse Al Ali, if you have the extra budget, Frankie Dettori's on this one for Simon Crisford. He's done everything right. He goes up with the firm ground. He gets first time Lasix. Another horse. If you have that extra bankroll, I would use him there also. I think we could possibly find some singles later on, so we might be able just to use them in this pick 5. But to recap my selections now for the 5th from Santa Anita, it's the second running of the Grade 2, first time graded this race, the Grade 2 Breeders Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. As a top selection, we'll use the 7 horse Kamari. My prize play would be the 5 horse Encoder here, and we'll go 7-5-3-10 in the superfecta, 7-5-3-10 super. So now let's get to the Juvenile Turf, race number 6 from Santa. Race number 6 from Santa Anita, it is the Breeders Cup Juvenile Turf, presented by Coolmore America. It's a Grade 1 race going for a purse of $1 million. Races for Colts and Geldings, 2-year-olds here. We have a field of 15 horses. The 15 horses are also eligible, so only 14 could go to the turf course, distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the 1 mile trip on the Santa Anita lawn, the turf course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile turf course. The top selection here, and this is a very weird race. The Juvenile Turf usually is, the dominance usually comes from the European-based horses in this particular race for the boys. But I think this year it's kind of different, considered to the Juvenile Fillies Turf, which is always the American-based horses do well there. I think this year the Juvenile Turf, the American horses have the edge, and in the Juvenile Fillies Turf, the European has the edge. So it's basically swapped around with the edge in this race. With that being said, I'm going to take the 5 horse Vitology as a top selection. Started the year in Europe, but right now is based in America. I'm going to go 5-2-12-4 in the superfecta, 5-2-12-4 super. Top selection 5 horse Vitology. This Tiro colt by No Name Never. Brendan Walsh trains this one. Javier Castellano gets the mounts. The horse's most recent outing came the 6th of October at Keelan, a mile 16th in the Grade 3 Bourbon, and the horse finished second by a neck that day, and didn't break all that well. He sat towards backpack last most race. He had a great turn of foot late. He just couldn't keep a straight course late, which cost him, but he still ran a good race as a just over 9-2 favorite. Before that, in his North America debut, previous trainer Joseph O'Brien was training that day at Woodbine, yielding around 1 mile in the Summer Stakes, Grade 1 Summer Stakes, finished third by 1 3/4 lengths, and again closed up from the back of the pack well. Didn't have the best trips early on, but he still ran a terrific race there. And then before then, the Group 3 A-Comb at York, 7 furlongs, August 21st. He finished fourth by 3 lengths. He closed up a little bit that day from sitting closer than he normally does. He still ran a good race there. And then before that, in a main race at Naas, 6 furlongs, July 24th, he won by a half length at 25-1. He sat back early, had a great turn of foot, and he got the job done. A very good run. He looks like he's one kind of run horse. He's going to come from behind. You're going to see a pace in this one. He's drawn well at 10-1. I'm going to use him as a top selection. The 2 horse Structor is also a very interesting horse. Tiro colt by Palace Malice. If Chad Brown trains, Jose Ortiz gets the mount. This horse ran first start against winners in the Grade 3 Pilgrim at Belmont a few weeks ago. Mile 16th on the Widener Turf course, and the horse won by a head. He stalked early on, a little bit wide, but he fought a good race to the finish, and a sight nearly got to this horse, but he had something left in the tank. It was a very good run there. Before that, Saratoga, mile 16th, Inner Turf course, 31st of August, and a main special weight. He won by 1 1/4 lengths. Again, he stalked that day, he wanted to go, but Irad didn't let him go, but when he got the lead, then he took off clear, and it was a very dominating victory. Since the Pilgrim, this horse has been training well at Belmont on the turf and the dirt. 5-1, good inside poster, could sit closer. He's a horse you definitely want to use. I think a horse you either use or you don't, and he's probably going to be the most overbet horse, I think, on today's program from Santa Anita would be the 12 horse Arizona. He's going to be 5-2 here. 2-year colt by No Name Never. Ain't no Brian trains Ryan Moore's on this one. This horse will be overbet, I think. He did finish second twice behind the best 2-year-old in England, Pinatubo, and I think he actually finished second behind also, or placed behind the best 2-year-old in France also, Earthlight, who I think is going under the radar. He actually finished fourth behind him in the Prix Mornay at Deauville, but He's a horse. He's going to the mile trip for the first time, which I think should suit him well. But he's he's not going to get an easy lead like he sometimes got, especially last time in the Dewhurst. He's a horse. I think he's going to get overbet. I would use him maybe as an insurance play on the pick 4 or pick 5. Pick 4 begins off this race. Keep in mind. But I just think he's going to get overbet at 5-2. And also, why is it when Aidan O'Brien runs horses in America, he always gets screwed with the wide poster? It's been like this for like the last 5 years now. It's always post 12, 13, or 14. It's never a good inside post draw. But at 5-2, I think he's, like I said, I think he's going to get overbet, and I think the American horses here have the edge. But like I said, maybe we'll use him as an insurance play in the pick 5 or pick 4. We'll have to wait and see. But to recap my selections now for the 6 from Santa Anita, it is the $1 Million Grade 1 Breeders Cup Juvenile Turf. Let's take as a top selection the 5-horse Vitology. We'll go 5-2, 12-4 in the superfecta. We'll go 5-2 right now in the multi-race. Maybe we'll lose to 12 horse Arizona. We'll have to wait and see. So now let's get to the Juvenile Fillies, race number 7 from Santa. Race number 7 from Santa Anita, it is the Breeders Cup Juvenile Fillies, Grade 1 event going for a purse of $2 million, races for Fillies 2-year-olds here. We have 9 horses entered, going the distance of ground of 1,700 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16 on the Santa Anita Dirt Course main track. 1 mile 1/16, the first Breeders Cup race of 2019 to be run on the dirt, and the top selection here in the Juvenile Fillies, I'm going to go with the number 7 horse here, Wicked Whisper. I'm going to go 7-4-6-3 in the superfecta, 7-4-6-3 super, and I think there's a chance you could, because I know I'm going to play a few tickets for the pick 4 or pick 5, probably 2, a cheap ticket and an expensive ticket. I'm going to single Wicked Whisper on the cheap ticket, and if you're going to play the expensive ticket, I'm going to go actually... it's too deep here. I'm going to go 7-4, but top selection here is Wicked Whisper, the 7-horse 2-year-old filly by Liam's Map, best to be remembered by winning the 2015 Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile at Keeneland quite impressively. But Steve Asmussen trains, Joel Rosario picks the mount up. The horse's most recent outing came here in New York at Belmont, 1 mile the Grade 1 Frisette, and she won by 2 3/4 lengths, and it doesn't get any easier than that. She sat on the front end all throughout, broke well, and she could have won around another 5 times and still won that easily. 87 Buyer. It was a very good run. Before that, Saratoga, 25th of August, 6 furlongs, main special weight 90,000. She won by 6 1/4 lengths, and again that day, she could have won around another 5 times. She sat on the front and all throughout. It doesn't get any easier than that. They never got to under the horse yet, to the bottom of her. She's just doing everything right so easily. She's been training here at Santa Anita on the dirt course for the last 12 days or so, which is very ideal. The track is very different than in years past, and you want horses to get, used to it. It's very deeper than it used to be. But the most recent workouts were 5 furlongs in a minute and 1/5 of a second, handling the second best workout 35 that afternoon or that morning, and a 5 furlong workout on 20th of October and 103 3/5 second. The 50th best workout 58. That was the first timed official workout since the Frisette. But I like the last workout. She's been training well. Everybody talks about on the if you're watching all the morning shows. But like I said, she should run well. I think she is. 7-2. Let's take her. I think if she doesn't show up, I think British Idiom, the 4-horse, could run a good race. 2-year filly by Flashback. Brad Cox trains. Javier Castellano gets the mount. This horse ran the Alcibiades a few weeks ago, Keeneland, going the mile 16 trip, and she won by 6.5 lengths. She stalked, she got the lead, and then she won very impressively, a very good run. Before that, Saratoga, 6 furlongs and main special weight 75,000. She won by 3.5 lengths, and again, she stalked, she got the lead, and then she took off clear. A very good run. She's a horse. She hasn't had any time to workouts here at Santa Anita, but her workouts at Churchill have been very nicely run. Also, her running style suits well. The horses in the last few weeks at Santa Anita at this meeting that started the last week of September, the horses that are winning on the dirt track have been either on the lead or just off of it. There's no deep closers really winning. She's a horse that's going to just stalk and on the front end, and I think that's also a good position. At 7-2, let's use her here also on on our expensive pick 4, pick 5 play. But to recap my selections now for the 7th from Santa Anita, it's the Grade 1 $2 million Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. Let's take the 7-horse Wicked Whisper as a top selection. We'll go 7-4-6-3 in the superfecta. We'll go 7-4 in the multi-race. So let's get to the Juvenile Fillies Turf, race number 8 from Santa Anita. The eighth race from Santa Anita, it is the Grade 1 $1 million Breeders Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. It's, like I said, a Grade 1 race going for that person, $1 million. Race for 2-year-old fillies. Field of 14 horses going to the turf course. The distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Santa Anita Turf course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile turf course here. The top selection, like I said, this race is usually dominated by the American-based runners. I think it's going to change this year. I think the Europeans have the edge by a lot. The top selection, I'm going to take the 5-horse Dea. I'm going to go 5-7-6-9 in the superfecta. 5-7-6-9 super. Top selection of 5-horse Dea. 2-year-old filly by Baited Breath. Roger Varian trains. William Buick gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 27th of September at Newmarket. On the Rolling Mile, 7 furlongs in the Group 2 Rockfell Stakes, and the horse won by a half length as a very, heavy favorite. He stalked, she got the lead, and then she just closed up well. It was an all-around good effort there. Before then, the Group 1 Moyglare Stud Stakes at the Curragh, 15th of September on good ground, 1,400 meters, 7 furlongs down the straightaway. She finished second by 3/4 length behind Love. The winner ran better, but she stalked. She had a good turn of foot. It wasn't a bad race for her. And then at Newmarket on the July course, 6 furlongs in the Group 2 Duke of Cambridge. Finished second by 1 3/4 lengths behind Raffle Prize, who actually finished second behind Kamari in the Queen Mary a few weeks ago. Or excuse me, she finished. Not Kamari. Who was that horse earlier in the day? Now I can't remember. She actually won the Queen Mare Kamari, and then went on to win the big race at Newmarket that afternoon, the Cambridge. But this horse finished second behind her. Raffle Prize. She just stalked. She just couldn't get up that final furlong in the July course at Newmarket, which is very tough at times. But she still ran her heart out. And then the Group 3 Albany Stakes at Ascot, 6 furlongs. She won by 1/2 length on very soft ground. She stalked. She got the lead. And then she took off clear. Her last 2 races, when she got up to the 7 furlong trip, she showed a lot more. The mile trip should suit her well, and she has a good inside poster. 5-1. Let's take a shot with her. I think the 7-horse Cristal is the best of the American-based horses here. 2-year-old filly by Pals Malice. John Kimmel trains. Joel Rosario gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came at Belmont, a mile 16th in Miss Grillo, and she finished second by 3/4 length behind Selfishly. The horse was stupidly wide throughout, but she just missed at the end. As the favorite, she ran a good race, I thought. Before then, the P.G. Johnson, Saratoga, mile 16th on the Melon. She won by a neck again. She sat back early, and she got the job done late. She's a one kind of run horse. It looks like she's going to close from the back of the pack. She's not going to be sitting close, but she needs to get a good clear trip, which could sometimes be a tough thing going a mile here at Santiva, especially with 14 horses and a quick run to the first turn. But if she could get that clear trip, I think she could also get the job done. She's actually finished first twice, but she only got credited with 1 victory. In her first race in the maiden specialweight Saratoga, mile 16th of the Melon, 4th of August, she actually won by 2 1/4 lengths, but because she was drifting so badly in the stretch, they actually disqualified her. Don't know if that was needed, but the stewards lately have been, a little bit weird, but she still ran quite nicely other than that. She's been training well here in New York at Belmont. At 8-1, we'll use her on the ticket also. Price play here is the 6-horse Unforgettable. 2-year-old filly by Muhar. Joseph O'Brien trains when Wayne Lordon gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 4th of October at Dundalk on the Polytrack. 7 furlongs in the Star Appeal Stakes. It was just a regular listed stakes, and she finished 4th by 1 1/4 lengths there. And she was facing the boys there, and she sat back early, and but she stayed the trip well. She had a little bit of turn of foot. I thought it was a good effort. Before that, a novice at Doncaster, she ran crap actually, to put it honestly. She finished 10th by 5 1/4 lengths, and she just really couldn't quicken up on the front end. When she did, everybody just swallowed her. It wasn't the day to win. And then in the Flash Stakes at Leopardstown, she finished second by 2 3/4 lengths. Again, she ran a good race. She wasn't going to get the victory, but she still ran decently. She's a horse at 21. I think she'll get a good trip from mid-pack. We'll use her as a prize play on the multi-race, but I'm more confident in the 2 in front of her. But to recap my selections now for the 8th from Santa Anita, it's the Grade 1 $1 million Breeders Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. Let's take the 5-horse Day as a top selection. We'll go 5-7-6-9 in the superfecta. We'll go 5-7-6 in the multi-race. So now let's get to the featured 9th race from Santa Anita, the Juvenile. Race number 9 from Santa Anita. It is the Breeders Cup Juvenile, Grade 1 event going for a purse of $2 million. Races for 2-year-olds here. We have a field of 9 horses, but we actually have one withdrawal, so we'll be down to a field of 8 horses. The 9-horse max field is scratched, so 8 horses are going to the main track. The distance of ground of 1,700 meters, with a distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/16 on the Santa Anita dirt course. 1 mile and 1/16, 1,700 meters. The top selection here in the Juvenile, I'm going to go to the number 6 horse, 8 Rings. I'm going to go 6-4-1-3 in the superfecta. 6-4-1-3 super, top selection 6 horse, 8 Rings. This 2-year-old colt by Empire Maker. Bob Baffert trains. John Velasquez gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came on the 27th of September here at Santa Anita. A mile 16th in the Grade 1 American Fair, the local prep race for the Juvenile, and the horse won by 6 lengths, and, was just much the best. Sat on the front and all throughout and just kept going. It was a good clear victory that day. Major improvement off the race before, which came in the Del Mar Futurity at, of course, Del Mar. Grade 1 event, 7 furlongs, 10 of the second. The horse, lost the race 16th of a mile into it, basically 100 yards. The horse ducked in, lost Drain Van Dyke. What can you do? It's 50 cents a dollar favor. It's just one of those freak things that happened. And then before the main special weight, 61,000 at Del Mar, 5.5 furlongs, August the 4th. The horse won by 6 1/4 lengths. Didn't break all that way. Well, broke okay, but went straight to the front and after that, and then didn't look back. It was a good, easy victory. Keep in mind, second place finisher Express Train won next start out, but coming here, second start around 2 turns. John Velasquez up, has been training up beautifully. I think at 2-1, I think the home court advantage might go to him. He's a horse on that cheap pick 4 ticket, like I was talking about earlier, cheap pick 5, whatever I decide to play. He's going to be a single there. My expensive ticket, I'm going to go too deep. I'm going to use a price here. The 4-horse Storm the Court, 2-year-old colt by Court Vision. Peter Erden trains. Flavian Pratt gets the leg up. Blinkers on today. The horse's most recent outing came in the American Pharaoh here at Santa Anita, mile 16th. He actually finished third behind 8 Rings that day by 8 1/4 lengths, and he just stalked most right in the race course. Just really couldn't get that turn of foot, but he improved off the race before, because this is the horse that kind of got interfered with 8 Rings. This is the other horse which was in that incident, and he lost Flavian Pratt. What can you do there? It's just a freak accident. And then before that, at Del Mar, 5.5 furlongs in main special weight. The horse won by 1.5 lengths. He stalked, got the lead, and then took off clear. Another horse he's been training well. I think the mile 16 trip should suit him well. At 20-1, he looks like a wise guy horse, so I'm going to use him definitely on the ticket, on the expensive pick 4 ticket. And depending on his price, I might go do a small win place each way wager on him. But he's a horse, like I said, wise guy play. Use him on your pick 4 tickets or multi-race tickets. But to recap my selections now for the 9th from Santa Anita, it's the Grade 1 $2 million Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Top selection will take the 6 horse, 8 Rings. We'll go 6-4-1-3 in the superfecta. We'll go 6-4 in the multi-race. So good luck to all. Remember to go check out my Saturday Breeders' Cup preview video, and hopefully we make some good money today. Good luck, everybody.